They often say, buy the worst house in the best neighbourhood. My experience of buying this house seems to be not exactly how I would have recommended anybody to do it. But hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Expat Barbados, bringing you another video. Yes, here in Barbados. I am back and I am here to give you the tips and the tricks you need to make the move to Barbados and join me. Yeah guys, come on, join me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. My name is Jay and I am the creator of Expat Barbados. I help you make the move to Barbados in a way that suits you, your needs and your interests. If you are new here, welcome. Welcome to my new subscribers. Welcome to those who've been here from the beginning. So guys, I am going to be sharing with you a series of videos on moving to Barbados. In today's video, it will be simply about the 10 things that you need to remember to do when you start to look at buying a house in Barbados. And to be honest, they are things that I have learned along the way. I have looked at lots and lots of different properties on the island over the past 5 years. So I think I've got a pretty good idea of this whole process and also the things to look for when you are buying a property over here in Barbados. So I hope you enjoy this video. So the first thing I would suggest you do is obviously start looking online to see what properties are available, and a great starting place is Cariblist, www.cariblist.com. I will leave the link in the description to this video, but if you go on there, the great thing about this particular website is they actually have properties for sale, properties to rent, to lease, as well as land. So it's a fantastic starting point. Yes, there are other options in terms of real estate websites, like for example Rightmove, which for those of you who are in the UK, you will have heard of Rightmove. There is Terra. I know there's Terra is a big real estate agency out in Barbados, but I would suggest starting off with Cariblist because generally most people tend to advertise on that particular platform. So it's a great starting point, and you can search in US dollars, you can search in UK sterling. So check to see if your currency is there, because if that's the case, it just makes it a lot easier for you when thinking about the price, the cost of a house in your currency. So you are clear what the cost is for you in your currency, as well as in Barbadian dollars, as well as in US dollars. You will find some houses which are, as you would expect, for sale in Barbadian dollars, but you will also see houses, property, land for sale in US dollars. And that is because Barbados has obviously its own currency, which is Barbadian dollars, but also US dollars are also accepted there. So that is why you will often see that. But obviously you need to be clear what it's going to cost in terms of your money, your currency. When you do actually pay, remember you will be paying in your currency, and your currency will then be converted. And that is where you have to be careful, because it could well be that on that particular day, when you actually transfer the money over to pay your deposit or to pay the remaining amount when you complete, it will really depend on what the currency exchange rate is like at that particular time. Now for me, I had to pay some more. So just bear that in mind, because it's very difficult to know exactly how much it will be. Even if you go to the banks, I found that when I was paying, the banks, they didn't want to give me an exchange rate. So yeah, these are the things that you have to bear in mind. And I think it's because it's going into another country, and it might take a day before it actually hits that bank. And at that point, it will be converted, and at that exchange rate that it is there at that particular time. So that's just a little thing to bear in mind, because they might ask you to send a bit more money, or you may have paid a little bit more. So guys, now that you've actually started to search online, and obviously that's the best bit because you see all kinds of amazing properties. But the next thing you have to be aware of is location, location, location. Because often when you look on these websites, and if you're not familiar with Barbados, you might actually not know where that particular area is in terms of its location. Or it might say it's located in the south or the west or the north, but you're still not really sure of the area. And that is why it is so important to have somebody on the ground in Barbados who is able to support you in being able to clarify exactly where that land, that property is located. And that's where your realtor, your agent, comes in. And guys, I can't stress how important it is to make sure that you have good agents who are able to communicate with you. They're very clear of what you're looking for, and they are prepared to go the extra mile to make sure you get what you really want, and they're not trying to just sell you or persuade you to look at something or buy something that you're not really truly interested in. So that's another important point to remember. It's your house, it's your land that you're looking for, and you have to guide them. But obviously it is important to listen to their advice, because those are the people, those are the specialists who are here on the island, and that's their job. Ideally, the best situation is for you to actually spend some time here in Barbados. So, okay, you might start looking at these properties online, but I would always ensure that I come and view the property. Didn't happen for me, but I would encourage that for you, if you really can, to come to the island. If not, the next best thing is to have a sister like I did, and a brother-in-law, or like someone that you can trust, a friend who is able to do that for you. And guys, that's something I've been helping friends with as well, because I've been able to go along with the agent, and I've been able to take photographs and videos and so on, and just give them my opinion as somebody who knows what they're looking for. Make sure you go to view the property at different times of the day. It really is important that you see the property at different times of the day, in the morning, in the evening, at the weekends, in the week, because this way you get to see who lives in that area, the people that live in that area, which will give you an indicator of whether that's the kind of area that you want to live in. Is it families? Do they have animals? Is it an area where the children are out playing, or is it a very quiet area with mainly people who are retired? Is it people who are staying there long term, or local people who've been lived there for years? Or is it people who mainly come on holidays once in a while, or are the properties rented out on Airbnb? In which case you will have an influx of different people coming and staying. These are the kinds of things that you need to take into consideration when you are looking at the location and the house that you are considering buying. Once you have started to look at property for sale or land for sale in Barbados, you will obviously begin to create a list of interested properties. That's when it starts to get exciting. Obviously, you will have a budget in mind, and it is important to stick to that budget. So what I do is I always put in the actual budget when I am searching, and this is better really, because it means that you are only going to really see the houses or the land that you can afford, and I think that's very important. Now obviously, if you find that you're not finding the properties within your budget, then that's when you have to make a decision. Do I increase my budget, or do I reduce my non-negotiables? I reduce the criteria in terms of maybe the number of bedrooms or the location of the property. So this is what you will have to do. It's all about adjusting to suit what you can afford and what you want. And that's what you'll find buying any property or any land. There will always be a point where you may have to make some adjustments to what you actually want because of the cost. Now guys, when I was looking, to be honest, I was looking at apartments, because in my mind, when I lived in Abu Dhabi, I lived in a beautiful apartment overlooking the Arabian Sea. So I had become accustomed to living that kind of lifestyle, and whether we had a swimming pool and they had a gym and all these facilities. So when I started to look, I realized that there were a few places like that, which was almost resort style living. But actually guys, that's not what I've got now. And so I would say to you, sometimes what you initially think you're looking for, you don't actually get in the end. And I have to say, I'm so happy that I have my own house and it's not on a gated community. It's in a beautiful community, locals and expats. So I'm very happy with what I've got. So I suppose I'm saying that to say that sometimes we have to be open to something that you might not initially think you are going to want. And I think that's what my advice would be for all of you. Be open. Look in places that you maybe wouldn't have considered, because I think it's important to see different areas. Number one, you'll learn to see that the island maybe has more variety in terms of locations than maybe what you knew. And number two, it might just open you up to something that you never expected. Living in some of these gated communities, or in these communities where they have lots of amazing facilities, and I have to say they really do have amazing facilities, you have to remember that there will be a service charge, there will be a community charge. Now that could be something that you pay on a monthly basis, or it could be something that you pay annually. So that's what you have to consider. That is an additional cost. You will have purchased your property, but you will also have a monthly fee on top of your utilities, your normal bills as well. So that's an additional cost that you have to take into consideration. And so if you're in that situation where you want to obviously let out property, as I've said to you before, there are benefits to being in those kind of communities, because you've got the security, you've got people who will be keeping an eye on the property. But you also have to remember you have that additional fee. When you are looking at property, you will see properties that might need some work doing to them. My house has been, it's not, I wouldn't describe it as a fixer-upper because it's not something that needed a lot of work. It's a house that needed updating. So these are the kinds of things you need to consider. I think it's worth looking at properties that might need, like mine, just updating. If you are somebody who has that, has the skills or is willing to pay for people to fix your house up, then look at those kinds of houses, because you could get a house at a good price, but recognizing that you will have to spend money to get it to the way that you want it. Now, if you're happy to do that, with time and money, can have the house the way that you want it exactly. Now, I would say that sometimes it's worth considering a house like that if the location is favourable, if the location is where you want to be. They often say buy the worst house in the best neighbourhood because within time the value of that property is going to go up. So yeah, these are things, other things to consider. If it's you and a partner, or you and family who are coming, or you and friends who are purchasing a property or land together, then you have to sit down and you have to talk about what are the things that you really want, what are the non-negotiables and what are the negotiables.
Wow, 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 wow.
Hey guys, if you are ready to take the next crucial step to finally planning your dream life abroad here in Barbados with me, whether it's to live seasonally, retire, relocate, or retreat here for a short escape, then look no further. Please make sure to check out how I can help you get started. Scouting and relocation calls and tours are now available, including January 2025. See my website link in the description. So what are you waiting for? Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, see how the beautiful houses dotted just along there.